Steps back in the pocket. Throws the home run ball deep middle. Marsh over the shoulder with a catch. Nick Marsh at the 10-yard line of Maryland. Angles to the right pylon. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, MSU. Lightning in a bottle. Aiden Childs with the home run ball to the young Nick Marsh.
Auto Owners Insurance presents The Jonathan Smith Show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense, and by the MSU Federal Credit Union. Spartan fans dream big with MSU Federal Credit Union. Meyer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Raise hope and foster dreams. Start your journey to becoming a foster parent today at michigan.gov/hope for a home. McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. And by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. Now with head coach Jonathan Smith, here's Will Tiemann.
It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Welcome to the Jonathan Smith Coaches Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. We are live here at One North Kitchen and Bar in Lansing. And I know this is the last show of the night, but for all the other Coaches Show, if you ever want to be a part of the live audience for the Coaches Show, make a reservations by emailing Caleb at onenorthdining.com. Welcome, Coach.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. Another Wednesday and Thanksgiving week and all of that, so it's good times.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to everybody. It's a nice crowd in here today. Appreciate everyone coming out. Yeah. Before we jump into things, Coach, a couple shout-outs going out. One, shout-out for the women's basketball team, winners of the Acrisure Classic.
Yeah.
Beat Vanderbilt 78-70, and a birdie told me this was the first time this season that any opponent has let up more than 60 points against Vanderbilt. So shout out to the Spartans.
Yeah.
Couple other shout outs, a couple big fans of yours that are in the house today. Sherry. It's her 70th birthday today.
Oh, there you go. Happy birthday.
And Todd. It's Todd's 57th birthday.
Nice.
So yeah, birthday celebrating with us today. We really appreciate you guys. So this week, for starters, that microphone over there is not just there for looks. If you have a question for Coach or the couple player guests that we have coming up, step up there, ask your questions, and we'll get to the answer for those. We're going to have a good time today. Good show today. A big win over Purdue last week. We're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to look forward to this week because there's a couple big things that's happening this week. One, the magnitude of the game. Winning this game, make it have an opportunity to become bowl eligible. Have those extra 15 practices.
Yeah.
How big is that?
Well, no question. We'd love to extend this season and get another month of getting around this team, being around this team, and then the development that can take place with practices. There's huge value with that. You got to earn those, though. And so, we got a huge game on Saturday to be able to earn the opportunity to stay together as a team for another month and, again, develop this roster and all of that. And so these guys have been working. The preparation doesn't change just because maybe a magnitude of the game, but they're well aware of what this game would mean, and just in the progression of this program that we want to be able to take steps to get to. Ultimately, they're not talking about trying to get to 6 wins. We want to be getting into the double digits and ultimately winning some championships.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a step back for a second. Let's go back and look at that game last week. The Boilermakers from Purdue came to town. It was truly a tale of two halves, that game. Spartans came out, started hot. At the end, hung on. But you don't talk about a grimy win.
Yeah,
that was a grimy win.
It turned into being that. It didn't have to be, but it turned into that. Because the two halves, you talk about the first half, even defensively, on the first half, played really, really well. And, the first drive of the game, they did a nice job. They put a drive together, but we held them up in the red zone. They kick a field goal, and then they shut them out for the rest of the half. You flip it on the other side. We had 4 possessions offensively, scored on all 4 of them. 1 field goal and 3 touchdowns. So you're feeling Like that was a really, really solid half. And then you flip it around. The third quarter defensively wasn't good enough. They put it longer scoring drives. We had multiple opportunities to get off the field. Didn't do it. But credit to our defense, the way they played kind of the fourth quarter of holding up, because they were out there too much, because you flip it on the offensive side, second half wasn't nearly what we want. And we got to find a way to execute. We got to convert some first downs. I'm not saying we should have scored a bunch more points. Even if you're not going to score a bunch more points, converting to keep the ball, the clock's going to run. You got that kind of lead, all of that, and we didn't do it, offensively in the second half. So credit to our defense holding up, and then somewhat offensively got the ball when the clock was way down in the fourth quarter and able to convert to ice the game. So still a lot to take away from. I think these guys know that these are long college football games. You got to play for 4 quarters. The thing's not over at halftime, and so you found a way to win, learn from it, and then you definitely move forward.
Yeah, you talk about, in football, you always want to talk about, all 3 phases, and you talk about complementary football. The first half, the offense were humming. You hit on the nail on the head there. 4 possessions, score points. The red zone efficiency was awesome. Second half defensively, I think one of the guys that made the plays of the game defensively was a guest that we had here last Wednesday, Jordan Turner. Interception. And talk a little bit about that defense, because going into the first half, they held this Purdue team to -7 rushing yards.
Yeah. When you can make an offense so one-sided where they're only doing one thing, that's advantage in a big, big way. And you look at the second half, Purdue, I think they only handed the ball off 3 times. The rest of the second half, they were going to throw it because of, the way we were stopping the run and all that. And Jordan Turner's a big part of it. I mean, this guy's been physical. The effort he plays with, he comes up with a huge pick, really off of effort, right? This ball's tipped up in the air, and because he's getting himself back to where the ball's at, he makes the play. And he's kind of been that way all year for us, kind of heading up this group. And, we'll get Cal here in a minute. Those 2 guys inside have been so huge for us defensively to play at the level we've been able to play at times defensively.
Yeah, we're talking the Purdue game right now, and we have a caller that's called in. And if you want to call in, the number is 877-535-1678. And we have Danny on the line. Danny, welcome to the Coach Smith Show.
Hey, Coach. Danny from Waterford here.
Yeah, Danny.
We got some Danny fans in the house. Yeah. Go ahead,
Hello.
Danny.
You there, Coach?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Happy Thanksgiving. If you
you too.
Me.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Wish you good luck in your pursuit of my question was, hello?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Danny from Waterford here.
Yeah, Danny, we got you. Your question.
Yeah, I just I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And I wondered about the energy level in the fourth quarter. How come in the first quarter?
I think I caught all of that energy level for the fourth quarter compared to maybe the first quarter. I think the energy was solid. I look at us on defense, that energy was there. I think it came down to our execution, lack of in the fourth quarter versus maybe how good it was in the first. These guys, again, I'm pointing at one side of the ball here in the fourth quarter, the ability to put a few drives together. Again, whether those drives turn into points or not, but the clock is going to run when you can possess it, convert on first. Convert on third down to create a first down. We needed way more than that. I really think our energy has been solid throughout this season. It comes down to the ability to execute. And coaches use this term execution a lot. Describing execution is if I'm a route runner, tight end, receiver, all of that. If the route calls to be at 10 yards, I get to 10 yards of depth before I break out. It's not 8, it's not 12. And we had some of those errors in the passing game in the second half. We got a couple of routes running into each other. We can't convert on third down because the execution wasn't there. So these guys have been playing hard. They're definitely looking forward to this Saturday to let it rip out there because there's a lot on the line and things. But energy level, and I give credit to 8 o'clock kick on a Friday night. The student section showed up big for us. That part, the crowd, they were into it, and that definitely helped us as the game progressed.
Yeah, definitely. We're talking the Purdue game right now. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Jonathan Smith Show after this on the Spartan Media Network. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little? But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I love getting out and trying new things. But my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
And welcome back. We're live in Lansing for the Jonathan Smith Show presented by Auto Owners Insurance. From hunting and fishing to trail riding, nothing tackles Michigan terrain like the Can-Am Defender. If Michigan is your turf, you need this ride on your roster. Visit canamoffroad.com/defender to learn more. Can-Am is proud sponsor of Michigan State University Athletics. All right, guys, we're back. We have a question. Go ahead, state your name and where you're from.
Dominic from Lansing. With the latest change to 105 scholarships, what is that going to do as far as the portal and NIL and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, it's a long topic. So it's talking about, our roster currently, we got about 118 on our roster for this year. And so next year, what they're saying, we're going to need to limit that to being 105. And so, look, you may lose the players at graduation and things. And yes, the transfer portal is part of that, but managing your roster because you got to get to a 105 number. So currently that'd be 13 less players. Then you think about managing, we've got some injured players. We all know this out of those 118 currently we're dealing with. And so you think about how many numbers or how many players you want at particular positions, right? So the position group has some numbers where you play in injury wise. And if you lose a guy, still college football, I think is, we want to be a program of development. And so we've got, especially if you play close to the line of scrimmage, you might need a year or two to develop. So we want to keep some of those guys on the roster that might not be ready to play in their first year. But you got to probably change those numbers a little bit going to 105, which makes it makes it tough. There's no doubt. And so it's something we're still looking at. The other avenue, because you're trimming your roster a little bit, how you practice during the week, the risk reward of practicing longer, harder, where this is a physical game, injuries could take place. We're taking a look at that. If we got to make that look a little bit different next year, and that's all coming. And so it'll be an interesting time. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of input, from the strength coach, the training staff, obviously the coaches themselves at each position. But it's going to look a little different next year with dealing with 105. Oh.
All right, Coach. Let's continue to talk a little bit about the Purdue game. We had some guys that came ready to play.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys did, but a couple of them that stood up. Montori Foster on offense. He was named Spartan Offensive Player of the Week.
Yep.
Catching 4 passes for 59 yards.
And those 4 catches were big. Some of them were down the field. He actually had opportunities to catch a couple of them more. Second half, we got a chance with him down the sideline. We slightly overthrew him. But some of the reason we thought he was the player of the week was, yes, some of that production, catching a touchdown. The 4 catches were really big, but also the way he blocked. He created a couple of longer carries from our back. He's continued to be a team player that way, and it showed up on tape, let alone being a great decision maker as the punt returner. So he had a really nice game, kind of well-rounded game.
Yeah, another guy on the offensive side, Tanner Miller, the anchor of that offensive line.
Did a really, in this specific game, making the calls, getting us in the right direction, winning some matchups because they created some one-on-one matchups up front, and he was winning a lot of times in protection. The guy's been steady Eddie for us the whole year, but he had a really standout game.
Yeah, definitely. On the defensive side of the ball, guys that had to step up, and they did. We talked about this a little bit. Jordan Turner being one of those guys. We talked a little bit about his, big play there, the interception. But let's go to Chris Bogle and Maverick Hansen, those guys.
Effort with Bogle because he was getting held half the time. They weren't calling it on the pass rush part. But he, comes up with a late sack. But his effort he played with. And sometimes pass rush isn't all just about, he got a sack. Is it, forcing the quarterback to throw it sooner than he wanted, forcing the quarterback to move outside the pocket, extend the play, and then getting over the frustration on a couple of times. He probably should have gotten a holding call. He didn't just sit there and pout about it. He just lined up again and went. The guy played with great emotion, energy, had a really, really good game.
Who was more excited from the defensive side? You or defensive coordinator Rossi when we finally got in there, got after the quarterback, and got some sacks?
We got a sack early. That was big. Yeah, and it's actually Jello on a blitz was our first sack. But just getting in the backfield is something we wanted to do better. We had kind of gone on a dry spell for a minute, and so there was genuine excitement, not just for myself, Rossi, but that whole defensive side feeling like, yeah, this is what we're about. We can do this, and I think we sacked him about 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone got free pancakes from that, thanks to the Spartan defense.
Nice, nice.
You said the word steady Eddie, a guy that comes to mind with that steady, Mr. Reliable, Jonathan Kim, special teams player of the week, making him, he's the Big Ten leader in field goals with 19 this season. Had a 43-yarder in the second quarter there. Talk about how big Jonathan Kim is to this program.
Because there's a momentum swing when you go up. Okay, you stall a little bit, but you got points. You got an opportunity to make a field goal, and he's been so consistent banging that through because it's a little deflating, right? You have a nice drive, you get in the red zone. Oh, okay, we're going to kick a field goal, get points at least, and then the thing doesn't go through the uprights. That's deflating. I give the guy a little bit of credit too on the extra point, right? We got a makeshift play, foul on a normal extra point and back us up 15 yards, and he still bangs that through because we've lived it. When that score gets a little bit out of whack, when you get 6 instead of 7, it changes some of your thinking moving forward. He came out there after the 15-yard penalty and banged it right through.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Kim, steady Eddie, Mr. Reliable. Every time
Awesome.
he goes out there, you can pretty much count that, you're going to get 3 points or you're going to get that extra point. So we're here at 1 North for the Coach Smith Show. Join us for all the coaches show at our Lansing location and visit onenorth.com for that. With that, let's get into the trivia question before we take a break here. So the trivia question, this week's trivia question, ticket football giveaway. Winner gets tickets to the MSU home game. You'll pick your tickets up at Alumni Hall retail location in Eastwood Town Center. All right, our question for this week. Who was the first Spartan running back to run for 20 touchdowns in a single season? Who was the first Spartan to rush for 20 touchdowns in a single season? All right, you're listening to the Jonathan Smith Show on Auto Owners Insurance. We'll be right back after this.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Hey, got one more, Labatt?
Yeah, here you go.
Yo, got one more?
Sure. Who are you?
Have any more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt?
Got one more? How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you.
Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
Is joint pain slowing you down? Imagine waking up and moving through your day pain-free. The orthopedic and sports medicine specialists at McLaren are experts in the latest surgical and non-surgical advances to relieve joint pain and restore movement so you can rediscover the activities you love. We'll help you get back to what moves you. McLaren, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader.
Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
And we're back on the Jonathan Smith Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. All right, we have the Alumni Hall trivia question. We good? All right. We talked about the trivia question. All right, let's hit this read real quick. Spartans dream big, and MSU Federal Credit Union is here to support you in every step of the way. Whether your goal is to pay off your student loan, build your dream home, or save for retirement, MSU FCU has you covered. MSU Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of Spartan Athletics. All right, so the trivia question. Who was the first Spartan in MSU history to run for 20 touchdowns in a single season? Go ahead.
It's you.
Who's you?
Ain't it you? Ain't it you, J.U.?
Yes. All right, the correct question. Just for the record.
Oh, yeah, say it, because I think you're picking these
I
trivia
don't pick the
questions.
questions. They're sent to me I got the question at 5:30 today.
Yeah.
I thought you would put them in there, and I thought you're going to stick one in about yourself.
Nope, I don't do it. So the answer is J.U. Colquitt, rushed for 21 touchdowns in 2007. Javon Ringer had 22 in 2008. Jeremy Langford also had 22 in 2014. These are the only three Spartan running backs to ever total 20 rushing touchdowns in a season.
There you go, man. Well done.
All right, Coach. Let's jump into it. We have some. Let's talk about, since we're on the running backs kick here.
Yep.
Talk about only three running backs have ever ran for 20 plus touchdowns in a season. You have a two-headed monster in the backfield there in K-Ron Lynch Adams and my guy from Western New York, Nate Carter.
Nate Carter, yeah, and it has been a 1-2 punch. Those guys, starting with, they've been great teammates, because let's face it, you play that position, you want to be the lead back and get the majority of the carries and all of that. But the way it's gone with both of them kind of sharing carries, it's a nice change up on the defense. Both of them bring some really good skill sets in some ways. And one aspect, the other one complements the other. It's been great, and both of them pretty much stayed healthy throughout the year. That helps you when you're splitting carries that way. I think K-Ron, again, he runs physical, he runs mean, it remains he's a good ball carrier and on different concepts. And then Nate, this last game, Nate had a great game carrying the ball, a couple of nice catches. I think about some of the screen game we've got Nate going on, and so both of them awesome teammates, complimenting each other, helping each other out. And then in the pass game, not just catching it, but protection wise, both of those guys been really solid. Feel we could use those guys on third down interchangeably as well. So that 1-2 punch is something that has been solid, and we're going to need a lot out of him this Saturday.
Yeah, Nate, this past game, he become the first Spartan since Jaden Reed in 2001 at Miami to score both a rushing and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, those were big plays, and that was a nice carry on his touchdown run because it wasn't exactly blocked how you exactly wanted. He's getting piled up a little bit and gets himself to the pylon, and then his touchdown catch at the end of the half, which was a great way to finish the half with momentum on that was contested, and he goes up there with his hands, bringing that thing down. Is a huge play.
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful catch in that north end zone corner. There were a lot of big plays have happened in Spartan history. Let's go on the defensive side of the ball. You got a lot of guys that's really stepping up this year. A guy that I'm like really impressed with this year, Ed Woods.
Yeah. And, you think about that secondary, he's playing corner, and we've had a few guys, a next man up type thing. And Ed came over here. He's just having the 1 year with us. And he's covered well. He played well in that game, breaking up some plays but I think some of the underrated or undervalued attribute of a corner is the ability to tackle. And he's gotten guys on the ground. He did it the other night. And so he's been really important for us, especially with the injuries we've dealt with.
Yeah, and another guy, Angelo Gross, Nakai Martinez. Talk a little bit about those guys as well.
Angelo Gross, great, just been here a long time and played a lot of football. Comes up with the early sack. We're asking him to play a couple of positions in the nickel position at times. Then he's playing safety at times. He's got a skill set to be able to do that. Cover, tackle, get in zone coverage. Plays really, really hard. And so he played well last night. Like I said, the early sack he got us some momentum there defensively. Nakai's been a newcomer this year. And played really solid in the safety position because we've had a couple of injuries there. He's played a lot of snaps. He's contributed on special teams, but gotten in the backfield, tackles for loss, being in the right spot. He has interceptions this year. So both Angelo, Nakai, and then you throw in Ed Woods. You just think about what we've been through in the secondary. Those three guys from game 1 to now headed toward game 12 been huge.
Yeah, so for those guys there, the athletic ability that they have on display, and I know you talk about the injuries in the secondary, but talk a little bit about the skill that goes into the different disguises that Coach Rossi likes to run, and Jello was, he came up on that sack on that corner crash there. So talk a little bit about that skill set.
Those guys, it is, I'm a former quarterback, right? And so what you present before the ball is snapped is important. And you got to be in unison, especially in the secondary end, because if one guy out of the 4 secondary players kind of gives it away where he's headed, that tells you what the other 3 guys are doing. And those guys are working on disguise. You talk about football intelligence out of those 3, really, really high. They study film. They're aware of what it looks like. They're holding their disguise, tell the snap when that ball snapped in the quarterback and then changing the picture. That's, the kind of the game within the game that these 3 have been really good on.
Yeah, and real quick, let's talk about how good Eckley has been this year.
Yep. Yeah, he had a nice game too. With the ability, he can boom the ball and all this, but it's about ball placement, getting the ball off a few times. You got a high snap there. He's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
And he had a nice kind of comeback game this last week in regards to the hang time. And we're going to need it to be – I know we're going to get toward Rutgers here in a minute, but those guys are really good on special teams. We're going to need it again. And Ryan's had a really good year statistically for us.
Yeah. Spartan fans, when you shop Meijer, you shop for an entire community. Help support food rescue programs, the Simply Give program. Learn more at Meijer.com. We'll be back to talk more Spartan football on the Auto and Insurance Jonathan Smith Show after this break on the Spartan Media Network.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
From our farm fields to the football field, Michigan soybeans touch every life, every day. From the food we eat to the products we use and the cars we drive, soybeans are making an impact. The Michigan Soybean Committee is dedicated to helping our farmers grow the soybeans needed for a more sustainable future while working at the forefront of innovation to develop new uses. To learn more about the Michigan Soybean Committee's initiatives, please visit us at michigansoybean.org.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Welcome back to the Auto Owner Insurance Coach Jonathan Smith Show. Auto Owner Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent. Auto owners make sense for you. All right, guys, I'm so excited today. We have not just one, but two guests on this show. We got a couple of guys who are true when you talk about what it means and embodies to be a Spartan. These two guys do. The first guy we have is Cal Halliday. Cal ranks 9th in MSU history with 359 career tackles and 3 defensive touchdowns. Those are tied for most in school history. Cal graduated last December with a degree in chemistry. He's going to be a chemist.
How about that?
Yeah. And our next guy we have on the other side of the ball, Montori Foster Jr. Montori's had a big year this year. He's played 53 games at Michigan State. 27 of those were starts at the wide receiver position, and a streak of 24 straight starts. He has a career high of 46 catches for 588 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. So, Montori, Cal, welcome to the show today. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, yes, sir.
So it's senior day coming up on Saturday, and I talked about it in your intro there. You two were Spartans all your career, and what does Saturday mean to you?
I think it's gonna be a special day. I mean, I've been here since 2020, and I early enrolled, so time's flying by. I mean, it's been 5 years already, and felt like I just walked into Case Hall. I mean, these new guys don't know about Case Hall.
They don't know about that.
But lived there, and then now it's already coming on the back end of the career, and I think it's going to be a really special day, and I'm excited to get back out there one more time.
For sure. It's definitely going to be a special moment. I can't wait to get out there in front of the fans one last time in Spartan Stadium and just put on the show again one last time. It's definitely going to be a fun moment for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys have seen a lot of different changes, throughout your 5-year career here at Michigan State. Different, coaches, different coordinators, position coaches. So Cal, for you, talk about playing for Coach Rossi. How has that been for the resurgence of your career this year?
I think it's been a lot of fun. He's a really smart guy. He knows a lot about football, and he's really, really into the game. He's taught me a lot this year because, I've had 3 coaches at my time here and I got to learn a lot from everyone, but he's been teaching me a lot every year or along this way this year. And just the style of play is a little bit different. It's been aggressive defense, and I think that sometimes that fits me better than maybe something else, but I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Coach Rossi, his different schemes that he does and the different ways that he positions you guys for success on that defensive side of the ball. Really cool. Montori, Michigan State is starting to get that nickname of wide receiver U. You got guys that are coming here and, having great careers here and then going to the next level and playing. And one of the guys that's been leading that is Coach Courtney Hawkins, who, wore the green and white, played here. How cool is it and what does it mean to be coached by Coach Hawkins?
It's been great, just the experience. He played in the league 9+ years, and, just soaking up all the knowledge that he's given me. It's helped me become a better player and just develop as a Michigan State Spartan.
Yeah, and for the both of you guys, we've seen, this roster. Coach Smith comes into town. He brings 61 new players to this roster. You guys have been the mainstay here. How was that, stepping up as leaders to to get these guys to buy in the program? One, something simple as learning the fight song, different things like that. How has that been for the two of you?
I think it went pretty as fluent as possible. I mean, 61 new guys, that's a lot of guys, a lot of new names. We did something during fall camp and stuff to make sure we got to know everybody's name, and that was like a big focus on team building exercises, stuff like that for sure. I mean, we sing the fight song every Friday, so we can go out and prepare for that after the game. There's just little things like that we do, just building the culture and everybody getting to know each other, becoming a family.
Yeah, and I'd say we got guys from everywhere, all around the country. So, just having those team functions, just kind of build it. It helped us build the foundation for our season for sure, and just helped everybody with the culture of our program.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last time we were in a bowl game, Cal, you returned a pick six. How long was that?
It was pretty long. I got in trouble. I got in trouble after that. It was downtime. It was a whole other thing.
Yeah, so looking to see some of that on Saturday. But talk about your game. You've just been the guy, and if you play the drinking game, anytime you talk Cal Halliday doesn't wear gloves, you take a drink. You're that guy that got a lot of Spartans feeling pretty good. But talk about your mindset. You're that blue collar guy. Like who did you model your game after?
I'm not really. I just the way I was growing up, it was my dad. Like he just instilled like toughness and making sure like going out there. I mean, even as a little kid, he wouldn't let me wear gloves or anything, making sure it was just tough, hard nosed, and that's the way I kind of like picture myself as playing hard nosed, physical, just outwork people, because that's kind of, I'd say, the way I play, because I'm not the biggest, most athletic guy out there on the field for sure, but that's what I would say how I play is just blue collar, like the way you explained it.
Yeah, no, and Montour, you're one of those blue collar receivers that you can see out there. You take pride, and Coach Smith alluded to this earlier when we were talking about you, how well you're doing in the blocking game, in the run game. We have success with the run game because the guys on the outside are blocking. What makes you want to block? I know Coach Hawk has that no block, no rock saying for you guys, but like, do you take pride in that, being able to go downfield and root guys out?
Yeah, I mean, it all started with Coach Hawk, no block, no rock. So, as a receiver, I want the ball in my hands. So I'm going to go block down the field. But, it's just my mentality. My dad kind of taught me and groomed me to be a tough guy, going out and just being a handyman and just helping the team wherever they need my, input.
So there's a rumor going around that you're the best basketball player on the team.
For sure. For sure.
Cal says
it ain't even close. It's not even close.
Cal, I think you and I have the same basketball skill. Frankly, you want to join us for the Michigan Sports Brief program every week on Spartan Media Network stations across Michigan, presented by Frank & Muth Insurance. Start the frank conversation about insurance with one or of your local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. We'll be back with more of the Jonathan Smith Show on the Auto Owners Insurance. We're going to talk Purdue. You guys going to stick around and talk with that for us? We're going to talk Rutgers.
Up to you.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
The U.S. is experiencing the worst blood shortage we've seen in 20 years. Give blood this season, and you can help save up to 3 lives each time. Join me and Abbott so we can save more lives together. Let's make Spartan Nation the #1 blood donor in the Big Ten.
Sure. Who are you?
Have any more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt.
Got one more?
How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you.
Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go!
Run, James!
No. First base!
Go, go, go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street.
We're back live for the Jonathan Smith Coaches Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Raise hope and foster dreams by starting your journey to become a foster parent today. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home to learn more on how you can support children of all ages in your community. All right, welcome back, guys. Cal and Montori are nice enough to stay for another segment with us. Before we jump to you guys and talk about the Rutgers game and, what you guys see in keys to the game, we have a question.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, so my question targeted towards Coach Smith here. So as we're approaching the close of your first season at Michigan State, I'm curious, what was the most surprising aspect of this first season? And then kind of the second part of that, what are the lessons learned that you're going to carry forward into the 25 season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know about surprising, but it has been nice. You talk about just kind of the traditions, game day atmosphere, Spartan walk. That has been fun for me to kind of experience and be a part of. I look forward to that continuing to the next, as the time goes, the next few years here, continuing that. We've learned a lot. And you talk about lessons learned kind of thing after year one on approach, learning this league and the physicality and the new environments and the weather. The landscape of college football continues to change. And so, we're trying to always work to adapt. I still want to be a place where we create a program like these two guys individually sitting next to me here. Guys come in, put in the work. Both these guys have started 52, 53 different, played in 50 some odd games at this place. Be here, fast forward 5-10 years from now, we're talking about the same type of thing of guys that have put in a lot of work and contributing to the culture, and obviously contributing to win a bunch of football games on Saturdays.
Yeah, thanks for your question. Thanks, Coach. So let's go ahead, guys, to this week, the Rutgers game. We already talked about the emotions of senior day, but at the end of when all that's said and done, that whistle's going to blow, and we're going to have to, kick the ball off. What do you guys see in this Rutgers team? Cal, from their offense.
They're a physical team. I played the black guy last year, and he's a really good player. They like to run the ball, and they want to manage the possessions of the game. And so the big thing is going to be stopping the run, and that's a point of emphasis for the week. So we've been making sure that's the focus.
For their defense, Rutgers defense, they're definitely going to play hard. They're a very physical team. Definitely their DBs play aggressive at the line and stuff, so we definitely got to be ready for that. So I feel like we just got to attack them down the field and just make big plays.
Yeah, guys, from a player's mindset, and because this is kind of a disruptive week with Thanksgiving being on Thursday, and you have to focus for a game. You're going to get some time off to unwind if you go home or different things. How do you manage that week, especially you guys as leaders? How do you get a guy that's a freshman, who's never had to experience this, to manage a week like this?
I think we just got to make sure we focus on the task at hand. Like when we were at practice, going out there intentionally working and making sure that we get the reps that we need for the week. And because when you get time to go with your family, you definitely need it, especially go unwind, get away from football. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 weeks now with 2 bye weeks, but it's a grind. It's a lot, and it's good to see your family and stuff like that. But then when you come back to football, it's got to be locked in, and that's kind of, I think, the vibe around the facility.
Yeah, and I feel like, it's Thanksgiving and stuff, but this is kind of what we signed up for, it's football. Guys on Sundays play on Thanksgiving Day. So, it's kind of something that you signed up for, just getting the guys to stay focused, locked in for the week's game in Rutgers.
Yeah, and so let's pick on Coach Smith a little bit here. Him coming in, a new coach. A lot of coach also want to set the standard and stuff. What's some things that Coach Smith has done or brought that you're like, and taken aback by, or funny moments with him?
Careful now.
The biggest thing that we got used to, like, team meetings. Like, we used to have some different team meetings before. Like, I don't know, just like scheduling stuff's kind of been a little bit. That's the biggest adjustment, I would say, relatively, because like otherwise,
yeah, that's really it. I'd say the same thing probably.
Like, it's nothing.
Okay,
you go. Good answer.
Yeah. You know where you got to go to practice tomorrow. Yeah. I'll be gone home. You got to see him tomorrow. Yeah. All right, and so let's talk about you're playing in Spartan Stadium for the last time. The memories. What are some of the great memories that you've had in Spartan Stadium? Each one of you guys.
The best one for sure is 21 when we beat Michigan. I mean, that was. I will never forget that game. The way that place reacted and everything. That was a pretty special moment.
Yeah, that was definitely a special win to beat Michigan at home. That was great just to see everybody, rooting us on. And then one of my favorite moments, I'm not gonna lie, when we played Rutgers, my first college game, and I was front row. It was 2020 and COVID, and it was nobody in the stands. But I was front line of kickoff, and I was like, seeing these big linebackers come down, and I'm like, yeah, you can just go ahead. I don't know about that one. But that was a crazy moment, just seeing my growth. I'm just proud to be a Spartan, so I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Two guys that truly embodies what it means to be a Spartan. And I tell guys all the time, especially in today's day and age with how transactional college football has been. If you come to a place like Michigan State, you're a loyal guy to the program, to the fans will take care of you, when you're done, and these fans will definitely do that for you guys. So appreciate you jumping on with us today. All right, Duckett Brother Distributions, proud to sponsor this year's Green Team at Spartan Stadium. They'll be helping clean Spartan Stadium, concluding each home game this season. Let's lend them a hand by keeping Spartan Stadium green and clean and disposing the trash in the right trash receptacles. If you have any questions for Coach Smith, feel free to jump up here. So that's what this microphone's for. But we're going to continue. We're going to talk to Coach Smith about the Rutgers game coming up. We're going to break down the game offensively, defensively, and on the special team side. And, Coach is going to give us some of the keys to win this game. You're listening to the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Jonathan Smith Show. Keep it right here.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind.
As an adult, kids want to know you're listening to them, but they also want to listen to you. When it comes to alcohol, they want to know your expectations and how and why to avoid underage drinking. Talking early and often about it in everyday conversations reinforces your message and keeps lines of communication open. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'll be by your side.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go!
Run, James!
No, first base!
Go, go, go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
Michigan, it's time to take them back. I'm Jerry Hodak, and I've lived here nearly all my life. For decades, we led the nation in bottle and can returns, cutting litter in half and preserving our natural resources. But some people have stopped returning their bottles and cans to the grocery stores, throwing away $105 million of their money. Keep Michigan green and put your money back in your pockets. Take them back, Michigan. The dime is worth your time.
live from Lansing for the Jonathan Smith Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Our show today comes to you live from One North Kitchen and Bar in Lansing. One North Kitchen and Bar offer curbside pickup. Don't forget, all the coaches' shows are here. Make your reservation by emailing Caleb at onenorthdining.com. All right, Coach, we're going to get into the Rutgers matchup coming up. Before we do that, we have a question from Harriet.
Hey, Coach.
Howdy.
So their quarterback, Alex K. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
For Rutgers, Sam?
Yes,
Yeah.
for Rutgers. And the wide receiver and the running back are all three having season record-setting games and seasons for Rutgers. How's our defense planning for that?
Yeah, they do. They got all three of those you mentioned are pretty good players. So you got to find a way to make them one-dimensional. And so we're going to start with trying to contain this running back because he's a really good player. He's got great numbers. Even looking all the way back last year, the type of season he had, and they want to make the thing physical running the ball. And so we got to be able to contain that and turn it into a throwing game. Quarterback makes good decisions with it. Decent athlete, moving around, extending when it's not there. He does have a background a little bit at the University of Minnesota, and so Coach Rossi's well aware of this guy's skill set and all that. But they present some challenges offensively, the way they've been able to move it and score some points. You throw on, their skill set and their ability to move the ball, but they don't make a bunch of mistakes either. You look at them offensively, the turnover ratio and the lack of turnovers that they've given up. They're a formidable, opponent there.
Yeah, I think they're better than their record.
I'm a little with you, and then again, that's why you play these games. But I felt like each week, I think Purdue's a little bit better than their record, and all of this, and these games are tight. I even looking at Rutgers last week at playing Illinois, who I think is a pretty good team, and all of that. They got these guys beat more or less, and Illinois comes up with a 40-yard touchdown with 4 seconds left, and so every week, everybody, you got to bring your A game if you want to earn a win.
Well, and one of the talking heads said that he thought that Purdue was the worst team in college football. I'm like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, you look at their schedule they had played and all of that. I know you got to show up on Saturdays to earn wins, and we're definitely hoping to be able to do that on Saturday.
All right. A deep dive right there.
Yeah.
So, Coach, let's get more into it there. Let's talk about all three phases of the game.
Well, a little bit we spoke on offense there. Rutgers, they do a nice job up front. They're physical there and make the game physical in the run game. And so we're going to have to do a good job containing that. Defensively, they throw you a decent amount of pressure packages. We got to be recognizing where that's coming from because they're going to challenge you on defense. And another big piece of this outfit is their special teams unit. Coach Yano takes a bunch of pride. He coaches this thing heavy on special teams. They're a threat to block punts, kicks. You look at the numbers. He's been a head coach there 16 seasons. It's a historic amount of block kicks through his time in 16 seasons. And so we got to do a good job on special teams of being aware of that. And again, we feel like special teams is a strength for us, right? With our specialists, Kim, Eckley, and all of that. And so we got to win that battle if we want to have the type of success we want to have against these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday's game marks the 16th meeting between the Spartans and Rutgers. So far, as Michigan State leads the overall series 10-5, including 8-2 mark in Big Ten play. So this week is going to be good. And you talk about that special teams. I think that's where those hidden yards are.
There's a ton of them there. Yeah. The hidden yardage, with a return, not just a punt return for a touchdown, punt return for 12 yards. That's a free first down. Kickoff wise, same thing. There's a hidden yardage that's sometimes unseen as the game's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Spartan fans, if you miss any of the coaches' shows and you want to go back and listen to it or watch it again, look up Spartan Media anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll be back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Jonathan Smith Show after this on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader. Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Farm Bureau Insurance invites you inside the green for an exclusive dinner with football coach Jonathan Smith. This unique experience includes a private dinner for one winner and 3 guests with Coach Smith. The winner also receives a private tour of Spartans Stadium, an autographed football from Coach, tickets to a future home game, and more. For more details and to register, visit InsideTheGreenSweeps.com. Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of Michigan State Athletics.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
And welcome back to the Jonathan Smith Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Special thanks to our staff here at One North in Lansing. Our on-site producer and engineer tonight, Scott Moore, and in studio, Chris Ottaway. Also, a big thanks to Ben Flieger from MSU Athletics and Greg Dansby for running the live stream. Remember, next week, our next game will be on the air Saturday across the state of Michigan when Spartans take on Rutgers. Join us live on the Spartan Network at 2 p.m. for a kickoff show. Coach, before we get out of here, talk about senior day and closing thoughts.
Yeah, it's always a emotional, important last home game for our senior class. We're gonna celebrate those guys pregame, right? Recognize them, and then the family be out there to be able to get introduced to the crowd, recognize from the crowd, get some pictures that are meaningful. You never forget these things. Your last home game as a senior, and it's an important one. There's no doubt that we got a lot to play for. Looking forward to another opportunity, last opportunity of the regular season at home to write the final chapter of this season.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you, Coach Smith. Yep. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Be smart, be safe. We'll see you in Spartan Stadium on Saturday. Go Green.
The Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Jonathan Smith Show has been brought to you by Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Raise hope and foster dreams. Start your journey to becoming a foster parent today at michigan.gov/hope for a home. Meijer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. The MSU Federal Credit Union. Spartan fans dream big with MSU Federal Credit Union. McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. And by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Jonathan Smith Show is a presentation of Playfly Sports in partnership with Michigan State Athletics. All rights reserved, and is produced by the Spartan Media Network.